Yeah, so I'll probably need some technical support here because the thing is, right? I have this. I usually do a sneaky thing where I have this scene here, which is just a static of the first slide of the presentation for the evening, and then I obviously switch to this, which is the actual first slide of the presentation, as we could tell, because if I click on it, it goes round to the disclaimer. So you see, so I've got one Google Slides presentation going, then I switch to this slide, which should be the date of the service, and then I switch back to this. But when I switch back to this, you're actually looking at the presentation. I forgot to do the slide. And I'm sure there must be a way. I mean, it seems illogical that there wouldn't be a way that if you want to bring up a new window, you force it to be on one of your screens. But I don't know what that is. So all of my Google and things, they all came up on the wrong screen. I had to drag them quickly out of the way of the running presentation. There we are. Well, welcome in, brethren, sistren, and those who don't like to be pigeonholed. Each and every one of you freaks, geeks, and every one of you totally unique. We're here, and just for the cradle of familiarity, we're going to go through the disclaimer and the order of service, but the faithful among us will obviously already know this stuff, but let's do it because it needs to be done for new people who come in. Are you using SWT Friday service to ping right now? No, I'm not, because you can see in the top corner there, that's the disclaimer. So the ping is only there. That's where the ping is, and then that is the presentation. So there we go. I've the wiring under the board, but then of course Discordianism is all about revealing the wiring under the board. So there we are. Right, let's do it. All acts of Discordianism portrayed herein are for spiritual entertainment purposes only. No spiritual enlightenment or transcendent experience is offered or implied. Leaps of faith and logical backflips are performed by trained sophists, that's me. Do not attempt to recreate at home any resemblance to other religions. Alive, dead, or merely untenable is entirely coincidental. Hail Eris and immanentize the eschaton are brands of the Discordian society. All associated intellectual property rights are probably also wrongs. Just the way they are these days. Fnord. Lovely. And of course, it's the usual order of service because it's a Friday night service. Deep thoughts to begin. They're going to be very deep this morning. Probably going to make some of you very, very happy indeed. You know what I'm talking about. Well, you don't yet, but you will. Faces of Eris. Where has Eris been hiding this week? An interesting one, this week's Faces of Eris. It's kind of an Uno reverse. You'll see what I mean. Reflective Tarot. Oh, do you know what? I thought I was going to be really clever, and I thought I was going to shuffle the tarot cards before I actually started the stream. And then I looked at the clock in the corner of the screen, and I looked at the clock in the corner of the screen, and it was like 5 to 7. I was like, well, I better go on with setting up all the things I haven't set up, so I haven't done it. So I'm going to shuffle the tarot now ahead of time. We have Kwandar, which will be lively this week, I'm going to imagine. And, of course, we will end the service with the weekly Friday sacrament. Now, interestingly, for tea this evening, I did have what's known as hot dogs at home, where you just get a regular link sausage, put it between 2 pieces of white bread. They even had butter on them, so it's more of a sandwich, really. And that's hot dogs at home. Doesn't include a bun, so I'm going to be twice as holy this week. Twice as holy. Mark my words. Don't get overexcited. But yeah, there's the sacrament. You may want to get yours, a replacement hot dog off with that. Is Eris good at Uno? Can I 1v1 Eris? I'm pretty sure, although I have never had the pleasure, that Eris would be the supreme Uno player of all time. I am absolutely 100% confident of that. I've played enough Uno in my time to know when somebody's just going to absolutely wipe the floor with everyone, and that is where Eris is going to be. So, yeah, we got some emotes popping off there. Yes, indeed. And indeed they should be. For the deep thoughts, the general image of the deep thinker thinking his deep thoughts is there. Yes, it's the heavy from the hit game Team Fortress 2. Because prior to St. Flup's Day, which we did determine very early on in the month, does have something to do. St. Flup does enjoy a Team Fortress 2 meme. But what does it mean to enjoy a Team Fortress 2 meme? Is the statue thinker thinking, or is he just kissing his own arm because he misses the feeling? Without the word "the," you might be onto something. He kisses his own arm because he misses feeling. That's all he's got. But the thinker the thinker is not who we've come here to discuss this week. No, who we've come to what we've come to discuss at Deep Thoughts is, and what the thinker is therefore thinking about, is Team Fortress 2 memes. Now, I had a quick look, and I've only got a few just to be illustrative. First of all, the most popular on an image search, like people literally repurpose this meme all the time, is this one. That is without a doubt. It's actually a GIF or GIF. So I assume people put use it and add frames and put bits at the bottom, like words at the bottom to say that. So that is it. I mean, it doesn't give you much to work off. It's just, it's just a thinker. It's just a guy reacting, which is interesting because that ties it. It's a GIF. It's like a really meta GIF of a GIF about reacting for reaction content or whatever. So it's actually one day we've got to make the thinker's thinking cloud contain himself. Ah, yeah, thinkerception. The scout throws milk at people and he's from Britain. Okay, cool, very nice, lovely. Yeah, I did a lot of reading, obviously, around Team Fortress 2 in preparation for St. Flup's Day, and I think you'll be pleased with my conclusion on the state of Team Fortress 2 memes. So yeah, here's a good heavy meme that I found. I like that one. I don't know what it means, but it sort of it's cross-pollinated, of course, with Puss in Boots. It's the Puss in Boots face, isn't it? But apparently there's no sandwich, so whatever that means, no sandwich, yeah. So yeah, I found that one, that tickled me, and this is the thing. Many TF2 memes are very particular to being about TF2, which is fine, they're allowed to be, but having a big gallery of those is like, well, that's obvious, yeah. Oh, I see. Sandwich made me throw me in my sandwich. Okay, so he likes a sandwich. If only I'd known that way back in a couple of weeks ago when I was auditioning. I mean, special food, we could have just had a sandwich, which is just a sandwich without one of the V's in W. I don't know how that manifests in food. Secondary. We are now declaring the sandwich the secondary food of St. Flup's Day. Now, I'm going to have to make it optional because it's a bit late in the game to be changing the rules here. Macaroni, cheese and meatballs. We've got them in the house here. We're all ready for our St. Flup's Day meal. But watch the Meet the Sandwich video. Good lord, only 1 minute long. Okay, cool. I'm learning so much. So there we go. So yeah, obviously a healthy meme base because it's a healthy fan base. And this is the thing that warms the heart and seems to be the most saintly thing or the most saintly vibe that comes off the whole TF2 community meme sphere. Is people posting a lot of things about how TF2 Chinese invaded the stream for a moment there. It's fine. They could come in, as you know. Eris welcomes all of all stripes. So yeah, the thing that I really warmed my heart was the comparisons. Mostly positive, to be honest, because, well, I guess it's easy to be magnanimous in victory. I do understand that Team Fortress 2 still being relevant many years after its first imagining, and whereas other pretenders to the throne have come and gone, must be fairly good. And people are always warm towards, there's lots of people going, I play TF2, but I also play Overwatch, and I also play this other thing. But obviously, I play TF2. So, and I think, that is possibly, if we're talking saints, we're talking miracles, and it is kind of miraculous. I stand in the black void because the light to the promise of safety is but a lie. Yes, well, it isn't there. Here's something I'd like to pitch. obviously, team shooters are born out of the not team-based shooters, or games which weren't primarily team-based, but they had team modes, such as Quake, things like that. So they're sort of ancestors. And I would argue that a particular game, Time Splitters, had a very big impact in the development of TF2 because I don't know if you've ever seen Time Splitters, but the art style of TF2 is very reminiscent of the art style of Time Splitters, which was mostly an art style at that time adopted because of the limitations of the tech that was running on, which obviously did explode. But by 2006, you could ask for something. The cartoony aspect of the 3D graphics, that was Time Splitters all the way. And of course, Time Splitters spawned 3 games, and they did have team modes, grab the bag kind of modes and stuff like that in there. And I just think that they're sort of they have affinity of that. Team Fortress Prequel, Team Fortress Classic was actually a Quake mod itself. Oh, well, there we go. Yes, I think I read that in the Wikipedia. Yeah, so there we go. So the teachings of Saint Flup are obviously, try and build a team, and you will endure, even if you're all infighting all the time. I can't say which character I relate to the most, because, as I said, I have not actually played the game. And I don't think it's for me. I've never played any team shooters. I've not played Overwatch. Never had any desire to play Overwatch. I don't really, I'm Mr. Assassin's Creed. Single player, long campaign. I'm the only person in the world who's having a deeply engaging experience with over 100 hours. I don't know if I'm the only person, but most of the commentary on Assassin's Creed Valhalla says that it's long and it's boring and yada yada yada, whereas I'm having a blast and I'm 100 hours in. So yeah, I'm a single player gamer, always have been, so there we go. But I appreciate the sentiment when it comes to the idea. I mean, the point is, if a game of any sort has lasted nearly 20 years, even just in its original form at this stage, how can we argue with that? It's a goer. It's a thing. Forget all these other things. Forget, Fortnite, Apex Legends, Pretenders, blown away in the next breath of wind. Team Fortress 2 has and is currently standing the test of time. So I'm perfectly willing to believe that in its class, it is the best in that class, or an argument at least could strongly be made for that thing. Same time, TF's last big update was 8 years ago. Yeah, but that's because you can't be fooled into thinking that that there is no such thing as enough. The idea that there is no such a thing as enough is a trick played by capitalists on us to say, well, you've got some, wouldn't you like some more? And sometimes the answer is yes. But, if you said there, somebody said, would you like an ice cream? And you said, yeah, I'll have the ice cream. And you ate the ice cream. And that person said, do you want more ice cream? And you probably say yes at that point. But how many times can they say, do you want more ice cream continuously? And you go, do you know what? I've had enough ice cream at this stage. At some point, that point is going to come. I'm pretty sure that, yeah, probably TF2 could stand to... I mean, what's going to happen is there's going to be this fallow period. I'm predicting this now with no knowledge of games and the way that games companies work. And you just got to pray that when what I say comes to pass, it doesn't come to pass in a be careful what you wish for manner. That they're one day going to go, hang on, loads of people still play this. Loads of people still love this. We haven't updated it in donkeys, but people are still there. The community's alive. And then, of course, in business, they will ask, how can we exploit that? And you can hope that their choice of how to exploit it doesn't just completely ruin it. I have to admit it's a bit of a slim hope, but at least we know who to pray to now for that not, for it not to be a complete crushing disaster. You pray to St. Flup. Pray to St. Flup that when the money men's beady eyes are light upon Team Fortress 2, pray to St. Flup that what they decide to do isn't that. Also, over 80% of people play TF2 are robots, people who stay in the menu and wait for random drops. Oh yeah, the robotization of everything. Interesting, actually. Well, not interesting, unsurprising that there will be other links to things that have been heavily robotized coming up shortly. So yeah, so there we go. So yeah, I think that basically when we get to the special St. Flop's Day service, that will of course finally have the responsibility of laying out for you the lore of St. Flup so that we can internalize it and cherish it until midnight on the 20th, wherever you are in the world and whenever that comes in your time zone. And then at midnight you can just forget all about him because he's gone. He's like the saintly version of a tissue from a box of tissues. You might be desperate for his arrival when the time comes, but then you will use him up, scrumple him into a little ball and throw him in the bin. And that's how saints work here at the SWDP. Sorry, I just hit my microphone. So there we go. So we've learned lots of things, or I guess I've learned lots of things, but I think, the message is quite clear that it's that vibe of you got a team, it's lasted a long time, and it doesn't matter who contends, you still have that magic, that team magic. And maybe that team is entirely imaginary. I'm sure that there are, well, what is it? They've got, we've got to talk of the Wicked Witch of the North. The Wicked Witch of the North. I mean, if we're talking Oz lore here, in theory, although nothing in Oz was ever as it seemed, it was the good witches that lived in the north and south, and then the wicked witches east and west. But then, of course, there was a bit of tongue-in-cheek cynicism about that. It's like, how good is good, how evil is evil. It was always subjective. So that's Oz, the Oz position on this. I'll just move the thing on. We can move straight on to Faces of Eris now. That was our message for the week. Team vibes. Strong team vibes. Oslo's not in the north. Yeah, the Northern Witch has gone rogue. Okay. I'm going to even switch the camera angle while we're waiting to do. I keep not doing the little thing. I mean, it's every week is profit week. I need to change that because I just had it one week. It was set to its profit week, and I've just so that's become traditional. But now I come to think about it, it could be better if we could change it in the template of the presentation. I think I know what I'm going to change it to, so that if it's accidentally left alone, it'll still be there. Rabies. So the good witch of the north has got rabies and is now wicked. Okay. I feel I'm right. Storytelling hint. I've lost a bit of context. I'm willing to accept what's said, but I'm not engaged yet. You also see a Norwegian fisherman accidentally caught a US submarine in his nets. I did not see that, but that's entirely believable. And I'm willing to bet the Norwegian fisherman's nets were in the right place, and if anything, the US submarine was in the wrong place. I'm just saying. Which liquid does the pink container you drink from contain? Oh, it's just water. Water during the service. I might have a soda later. But right now, just water. It's got some ice in it as well. So there we go. Yes, just to keep my pipes, because obviously doing a service, you do a bit of talking. What kind of a loony am I? Forgot to instantiate 23. But I had to take 2 minutes at the beginning, so we're going to say it happens now. We've got to do it. So where's the 23 slide? There it is. It's 23 right now. It came out of nowhere. This is the thing that I have learned about 23. In fact, we have sneakily done 23, even though we're doing 23 again now. This is like what we will call explicit 23. It's there. It's in your face. Yeah, 23. It's happening now. But at the beginning of the service, that intro reel that flips round and round now has 23 slides in it, which of course is exactly the right number of slides. So now the only way for a slide to get in, oh right, yeah, I still haven't done that. It's because I can't be bothered to log into Stream Elements because, you know, honestly, it's just things. So yes, well done, Monstructo, you tell it. 23 give you power to say, yeah, not so much. There we go. Good. Excellent. Wonderful. Thank you, 23. So yes, we've had 23. So yeah. So we have, oh, wrong one. We want this one. Yeah. Okay. So yeah, so there are 23 slides in the intro reel. So we always do 23, whether I remember to put on the timer or not. I do like the timer, though the timer is fun. To make up for not doing the timer in this Friday service, we shall, of course, must have a 23 timer in the Flup Day service. That is only fair. Only fair. So, yeah, so there we go. So who is Eris this week? We are racing through, but that's fine. Service lasts as long as the service lasts. And we already have a fine message about team vibes. Trying to capture that team vibe. That's very Fluppy, and that's what you meditate on. Team vibes. Where's your team? My team is my family. And we've lasted, well, as a family of, you know, my boy is 8, nearly 9, so 8 years. 8 years family. Not even as long as Team Fortress 2. But we've probably eaten more ice cream than Team Fortress 2. So, okay, so here we go. Faces of Eris. I think this should animate correctly, he said. I mean, if it doesn't, what's anyone going to do? Sue me? So here we go. Oh, yes, there is the swirling void of chaos. True chaos through which the goddess dances and she prances. And then the veil parts. And we see that this week, Eris is art. Yeah, it's a concept this week. I found this delightful primitive picture of a circus tent. So I thought I'd put that in as standing in for all art. You can't have the heavy from Team Fortress 2 on every GD slide. TF2 Real Gamer 2022. And there is a reason. What is the official dinosaur of our church? We'll save that for Q&A, but I will attempt to answer. I'm not just stalling for time, because I probably could freestyle one right now. But, in fact, I know. So I'm going to answer that in Q&A. But let's consider art. Art I have picked as kind of a Uno. In fact, some of your states have official state dinosaurs. Lovely. I like that. That's a cute thing about a country that I may never visit now. Probably won't. Since about 2016, it's been somewhere I really don't want to visit. Even when things calm down a bit, I'm still like, I'm not sure. Still not sure. It's not happening. It's really not my cup of tea. Anyway, art is, of course, controlled chaos. And as I say, this is an Uno reverse because what I might have liked to talk about, what's been the word of the week. It's getting in a bit late in the year to be the word of the year, but if it had just waited till January next year, could have been a contender in 2025, might still be. Slop is the word. You can't slop. Eris is not slop. Okay? Slop is the very definition of grey face infecting an area that should be entirely filled with Erisian energy. Because slop is all about manipulating a viewer to keep them watching, or not watching, but engaged. Yeah? So that, like, keep the stream running, so the advert runs, so that the advertiser feels that they're getting value for money. Yes, the person engaging with the slop may be ironing or washing up or going for a job, not really paying attention to the actual content. But the point is that the computer metrics say, so every social media out here, yes, this is, you go and look on the YouTubes, like do a search for it now. everybody in the last 2 weeks have popped off about slop. And in fact, a couple of people have made videos about, well, Drew Gooden made a video about how everybody is out to waste your time. And he made that video literally about 3 days before everybody started making videos about how there's a slop problem. And today we've had a show, there was a video dropped, and I can't remember which YouTuber did it. I think it's Pillar of Garbage. Pillar of Garbage dropped a thing about Netflix and how they are really like they've let it slip when the mask has come off Netflix, that they have admitted that what they're really trying to do is engineer stuff that people will put on and leave on, but then they'll like look at their phone or look away. Like all they care about is that someone will put it on and it'll be inoffensive for them to have on. They don't care about it being in any way engaging. And that's the point. No slop is sacred in the mind of Eris, because slop is a trick. It's a bait and switch. Art, which is the Uno reverse of slop, that is the Erisian energy. But it's weird because, art is frustrating, okay? And this is one of the things that Eris finds most attractive about it. Because in the UK, we have a thing called the Turner Prize. And people have put, people put like a bunch of 2x4, like 2x4s bound together with a couple of beach towels and stick it in an art gallery. And what about a self-reflecting honest slop? No, right, honest slop, okay, is just slop where the creator of the slop said, I have created this artifact in order to keep it on people's screens, in people's ear holes, whatever it is, while they're not really paying attention, in order to inflate watch metrics and have a bunch of advertising revenue and maybe a sponsor, convince the sponsor and the advertisers that my content is worthwhile, but it is slop, really. It is not worthwhile content. There are a lot of other issues in that. So yeah, even honest slop is merely a manipulation. It's a massive waste of everybody's time. In pursuit of a shiny dollar, yeah, which is fine. Everybody's got to pursue a shiny dollar, but like this, not like this. In the art, where does the tube go? Very good question. Very, very good question, which I do not have an answer to. But that is that tube in that art in my era. I thought you were asking a more philosophical, broad-based question, but indeed, and this is the frustrating thing about art, maybe the pipe in the art is a metaphor about where the tube, the pipe tube, that tube is a metaphor for the tube that we perceive in art and we don't know where it goes. What about a slop with a really tiny hat? You see, the problem is if you make your slop too mentally tantalizing, it tips over into being actual content, stops being slop. The whole point of slop is that you haven't really put in any effort. So I'm already intrigued about the slop in the tiny hat, and well, I would be asking, why the tiny hat? And the minute you're asking a question like that, the Slopmeister has failed. Because you're asking questions about the content, and you are absolutely not supposed to question the Slopmeister or the slop. You're just supposed to. It's just supposed to be there. Yeah, of course. This is how I fitted this into a bullet point. It's one of those things that you know it when you see it. That one is true. I'd probably leave that one alone. It's just the charity one I have to get rid of. Although not very true, because obviously I use an Xbox, not a PS4, and to be honest, I have got a webcam for it, and it's never been plugged in, so I've never actually managed it. So yeah, it's not. It's kind of a work of fiction in that it doesn't actually happen, but it's not a work of fiction that I sometimes think, oh, I'll do something. The problem I have is that when I play a game on my Xbox, I like to relax into it, and the very act of streaming stops me relaxing, and I suddenly have to play at a third level. And so, sadly, like I can't just plug a webcam in and stream me playing AC Valhalla, because that would invalidate the point of me playing AC Valhalla, which is which is just to relax into that environment. I'm wondering if a lot of critical thought on it isn't informed by that fact that when you criticize a thing, you necessarily don't play it as if you weren't criticizing it. So, and there again, the problem with art. If you regard it in order to tell other people what it's like, that ruins your personal experience of it. A fickle itstrus, and I mostly did this. I mean, it is true. Art is a fickle itstrus that is gender non-specific, but it can rule your life. Remember all those ones we've been having in the reflective tarot? Art can be the source of that passion fire for some people. And the problem is some people really love it and just aren't very good at it. Or, other people get lucky or something, the fate is entwined with creating art. Tube seems to be quite large compared to the ballerina. Maybe I can enter the tube and get the answer that we all want. Don't think that way, Monstructo. That way madness lies. You can never enter the tube. And, to paraphrase a British sitcom, Father Ted, I would say that the tube is close, but the ballerina is far away. But in this primitivist art style, perspective isn't attempted. It's sort of implied by the fact that we have a big top circus tent type thing there. And we've got like lots of, I can't point at it. I don't even have a pointer. Maybe actually, we'll look at, the cursor comes on. Yeah, okay, so there's my cursor. You've got the audience here and their heads are very small. And she's probably not a ballerina. That must be a trapeze. She's not like standing in a doorway. She's standing on a trapeze. So she's like some kind of umbrella-wielding acrobat who is behind a crowd who are at the edge of the circus big top, which would imply that the pipe is in the foreground. So there we go. Or it could just be a small figurine. It could be a small circus where only tiny people, figurines, are allowed to perform. We will never know, for the artist's intention is muted. They drew the picture and they left it. Now it is up to us, the viewer, to interpret that art. Another reason that it's a fickle itstrus. I quite like the word itstrus. I'm going to make it happen. Is art overrated? Possibly. That is the thing. There are many times people look at art and go, is that art? And then there's many times when people are presumed to be trying to produce art and people go, that's not art, it's rubbish. So, art. It only happens when consensus says it happens. The artist is a devious puzzle maker. Now, you might be referring to the artist of my example picture, but that's just a general statement about artists. Devious puzzle makers, the lot of them. Because they're so devious that sometimes artists are like, my art isn't a puzzle at all. What do you mean it's not a puzzle? It's clearly a puzzle. No, it's not a puzzle. Wait a second, you're only saying that to frustrate me because I know it is a puzzle. Then there we go. Indeed, it is Magritte, the famous surrealist painter who painted a picture of a pipe and underneath wrote, Ceci n'est pas un pipe, une pipe. This is not a pipe. But of course he was telling the truth because it wasn't a pipe. It was a sign, an image of a pipe. But the sign was supposed to indicate pipe. It was supposed to have an inherent pipeness. So saying underneath, it isn't a pipe, is just, which is interesting because we were talking about tubes and pipes, indeed. So, Magritte is here in spirit. And the person who drew this picture probably didn't even think that would come across. But yes, so to say, maybe you draw a picture or produce a crossword grid with like little numbers, but you don't put any clues. Just underneath you put, this is not a crossword puzzle. And then people who like crossword puzzles are very frustrated because they don't have any clues. And that's what the only clue they've got is that the square above is arbitrarily, it looks like a crossword puzzle, but is not. But is that even art? The painting seems to be of French origin. Okay, fair enough. That Magritte was Belgian. So yeah, that doesn't. I just did a royalty-free image search for art, and this is one of the images. And I was like, circus big top, definitely. So I didn't really look further into it than that. But thank you very much if you've actually put that into like a reverse image search or something. Very, very nice fact. Yes, art is the content of every mystery box. If only we knew what French tubes hide within. What hides within French tubes or whatever. Yeah. I sympathise. I empathise. I eat chicken thighs. So yes. So art is the every piece of art is the content of some mystery box. This is a J.J. Abrams thing. He of was it Force Awakens? Lost fame. His thesis of art, of his art or craft. It's always interesting with film directors. Are you an artist or a craftsman? We ask. We don't know, they say. And that's how they get out of stuff. But yes, he comes up with this thing, or came up with this thing, that he likes to centre all his movies around of the mystery box. You show the audience a box. The characters in the film, some of them might know what's in the box, but you as the audience definitely don't. And some of the characters probably won't either. And that is the engine of drama. What's in the box? Yeah, that's what we're always asking ourselves. And that's the thing. Like, art is simultaneously the box and the mystery within the box. Because we're always asking ourselves, is it art? Is it real art? Is it good art? If it is art, if it, you know, it's all questions. It's creative stuff that's put out there, and in the modern world, it has become just a nest of questions. And that is why art is not slop. And that is why art is the face of Eris for this week. A veiled casket shrouded in secrets, promising marvels, yet cloaked in shadows of doubt. Beautiful. I hope you made that up, because, whoa, what a quote. Marvellous. And I said it out loud. I am your actor. You direct me. And I given dialogue like that. Loved it. Very good. No notes. My character definitely would say that, and I know what my motivation is. It's to look badass saying things about veiled casket and promise of marvels. Super good. So it's that time of the week. We want to know what the tarot card is going to show us. I shall reveal at this time that I had a little think about St. Flup and the order of service, and there will be a tarot draw for St. Flup's Day, but it will be slightly different. Slightly different. In tune with the vibe of a meme lord. So can I have a number between 1 and 78? From the gallery, from the peanut gallery, from the floor. And we wait here. It's because of the delay. You are only hearing my question. As I'm saying this live, you are probably hearing the question that I'm waiting for an answer to. And then you put in the number, and oh man, 84. That is a little high. I can do, yeah. I mean, I can take 78 off that. 42. Okay, cool. Very Adams. Right. I mean, now you've got to see a man count 42 cards. Oh, I just showed that card. It's not that one. What's the best way to do this? 1. There we go. That's the best way to do it. 2, 3, 4. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. You're all out. 11, 12, 13, 14. Oh, the anticipation. 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. Sorry, you can go home. I'll be in touch with your agents. 21, 22, 23, 24. 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30. Afraid not. And you guys were so close. 41, it's there, 31, 32, 33, 34, 35, 36, 37, 38, 39 and 40. But I'm afraid you lost out to this guy. And this guy is the Knight of Pentacles. We've been having a lot of royals, not like consecutively, but yeah, we've had what, Page of Pentacles, Queen of... In fact, we've had a lot of them, and I'm pretty sure... Did we get... No, it was the Queen of Pentacles as well. We've been having Wands and Pentacles coming out of our literal tab holes. And this week we got the Knight of Pentacles, a painted glimpse of fate. Well, is it? It's something for you to reflect on. It's yet another vibe. There's a lot of vibes in Discordianism. That's how it works. And this is the vibe. This is the tarot vibe for the week. Now, of course, the Knight indeed is a vibe. It's all about taking action. Whereas the Page is all about working on your inner being, the Knight is all about taking action, as is the King. Yes, but the difference is this: the King expects to take action and make a difference, whereas the Knight hopes to act without consequence. So you will do stuff, or the Knight of Pentacles does stuff, but they do not expect the stuff that they do to have any consequence or act. It's just acting out, as it were. And Pentacle energy is all about long-term security. So it often gets conflated with money, but it can be anything that gives a person long-term security, such as forging a long-lasting relationship. So even, legal proceedings, such as marriage, or buying a house, which is also economic, I must say. But anything, or going to therapy. All of these actions are in the pursuit. So that star of radiance, no, it's a pentacle. He's holding a pentacle for 5-pointed star. They can also be called coins, because as you can see, they're on a disc. They represent that token of emotional security in the form of money. I keep saying it like that because it's not really just about money. It's about anything that is foundational and secure for you. And so the pentacle. So basically, what this card is all about is the idea of doing things, starting a savings account, enrolling for a night school course, anything like that, that you're not expecting it to really come to much, but you're just doing it for a laugh, but you're essentially playing with the idea of security. So it's a lesser Star of David. No, Star of David has 6 points anyway. So the pentacle is an ancient symbol of protection. Also, it can be seen as 4 points for the traditional Greek elements, 1 for spirit. That is something sometimes people do, but it's not in any way related to any other face. Discordianism only in here. Discordians don't really do pentacles, but they're harmless enough. So there we go. That was our tarot card. Now, I'm afraid I'm going to have to do something that I never have done, but when I come back, I will answer that question about the dinosaur, but I just need to take a short comfort break. So here is a screen you've not seen very often. It says, "Be right back," which I will. Yes, apologies for that. I am wondering whether I have a slight bug, because in addition to needing to take a comfort break, I also am feeling a bit hot, and it's November, and trust me, it's not that warm. So could be. Usually I'm all fine for the hour that we do this, but there we go. So yes, Kandar is here, and we have a question on the table, which is, what is the dinosaur the Erisian dinosaur. Now, I will say this is just for the chapter of the SWDP. I can only speak for this ministry and this, but it is definitely the Ankylosaurus. There we go. Question answered. Well, I guess it is kind of answered, but then obviously it's also let's just, because it's an obscure dinosaur, so I'm gonna be kind enough to try and find there we go. Look at that bad boy. Images. Let's get one. There we go. That's the Ankylosaurus. Why is the Ankylosaurus the dinosaur of this chapter of the Discordian faith? Well, let's bring it up on a slightly bigger screen so that you can take a good look at that bad boy. It's because, look, there, you've got this weird podgy body, which is covered with armor, by the way. And this guy actually had a battle hammer on his tail, right? Since I was but a small boy, I have always thought that this is one of the better niche dinosaurs for the heavy weapons tank enthusiast. In fact, if the heavy from Team Fortress 2 was a dinosaur, probably be this one. I'm just saying. So yeah, definitely. And the thing that's even better is that, unlike, your big sellouts like the Tyrannosaurus Rex and what have you, yeah, this one's never sold out. Is there an Ankylosaurus in any of the Jurassic Park, Jurassic World franchise? No, because he don't need that dirty Hollywood money. His likeness is protected. Yeah, so they can just forget it, right? So there we go. So that's the answer to the question, what is the official dinosaur of the church? And unless there are any more questions to be answered, and don't even go to what's at the end of the tube, because as I have well forewarned, the tube is not to be known. The tube is only to be wondered upon. Maybe we will think we have an answer to what's at the end of the tube, but really each person's answer is their own. And whether they share it, that is part of their story, not part of all of ours. So when I ponder what's at the end of the tube, when I work out what's at the end of the tube, I will know whether I am to share it or whether I am to keep it to myself. And you should be the same. So there we go. So that's just a word on the tube before we go there. And that, of course, leads us to the concluding act of this week's service, which is, of course, the weekly sacrament. So I should probably give everyone a moment to grab their sacramental stuff. And this has lasted very well. I mean, I suppose I eat one. I don't suppose that the people who manufactured these fine confectionery items really imagined that they would end up being used as a spiritual hot dog in a Discordian e-chapel service, thus being consumed at the rate of one per week for an indefinite. I think they thought that people would just be tearing into the jar and scoffing 5 at a time and that you'd run out in 2 weeks. But that is the way that the cookie crumbles and that the thing rumbles on. I bought a new disk drive and it's just popped out, trying to push my sacraments off the edge of my desk. There we are. So here we are, and it is time to recite the age-old mantra, which is like, it is older than the services. I've been doing that mantra for ages and ages, a couple of years at least. So it's quite old. As a little piece of invocation. So we say together, as we stick apart, but together, but apart, and joyously consume our sacrament. I could not find a hot dog, not even with a bun. So I eat this candy noodle because devotion comes with fun. Hail Eris. Don't forget, of course. I haven't eaten it yet. I haven't finished it. Got to finish the hot dog. Joyously partaking. Yes, just a reminder that we have recently established that in the SWDP, the hot dog sacrament is anything that is strawberry flavoured. I am going to make one exception to that rule. Actual strawberries. It's like having hot dogs but not having buns. Strawberry flavour is a very different game to strawberry flavour. Like the flavour of an actual strawberry. Yeah, strawberry flavoured things tend not to taste very much like actual strawberries. Even strawberry yogurt, which is literally made of yogurt and strawberries. Something about the yogurt changes the taste of the strawberry. It's a whole thing. So, yeah, an actual strawberry is probably not suitable in the SWTP as a sacrament, because although it obviously tastes of a strawberry, because it is a strawberry, doesn't taste of strawberry flavour. So any kind of confectionery chew, we had iced tea was brought up, strawberry flavour, that's fine. Anything that's strawberry flavoured that isn't an actual strawberry is fair game. But there are other things as well. I mean, it's basically who you want, but it's like how close do you want to be to the middle of the circle? Obviously, if you want to join me in strawberry pencil bites, then you're right there. I'm doing it on screen, you're doing it in your home. There's some kind of synchronicity there. That's what's happening. Of course, as we leave the world of Discordianism for another week, I shall remind you that these services happen live and then are posted over to YouTube, the YouTube, where people may enjoy a little slice of Friday at any time. And in fact, I was meaning, before I forgot that the opening slide was not done correctly, I was meaning to do a whole thing about, how's your Friday been? You're looking forward to the weekend. Because for the duration of watching the service, it's Friday. Wherever you are, it's Friday. So get vibes again. You want to get some Friday vibes. You might like to enjoy it. You wouldn't have been able to this week because, the week I've had. I'm not going to bring personal stuff onto the service. But I didn't manage to upload this one's or not to make available this one's until until about Wednesday. So if you'd wanted a little slice of Friday on Tuesday, afraid, well, you could have used one of the old ones. They're kind of evergreen. I am actually seriously reconsidering the naming convention on the videos because I'm putting the date on, but largely the date is irrelevant. I mean, mentioning that it's the month of New-vember and it's the season of Aftermath, that gives you all the vibe-based information, but a number on a calendar, it's a bit arbitrary. You should be able to select your service bearing in mind the month vibe and season vibe that are in effect at the time. That's my feeling. So if you are a YouTube asynchronous service enjoyer, please let me know what you think of that. Should I change the titling so that it leaves out the number and just says this service here gives you spooky month vibes in Aftermath or in Bureaucracy? Seems like a better plan, because then you just do that. All right, and I guess that is all that there is to know. You're about to see the end of service slide, which tells you where you can find me. Where you can find me in many places. All of those places are perfectly adequate to find me. There are other places. I mean, for example, if you visit the Twitch, that has a link to the Discord, but the Discord is not very active, I'll be honest. And most people, when they say, well, my Discord's not very active, they go, but I've got big plans. I have no plans. I mean, for God's sake, I don't even really know what to do with Discords that I'm in. So how am I going to know, that I'm just a member of? So how am I going to know how to run one? Are you crazy? So probably are, because you're watching a Discordian service. But yes, as I said, there will be a short service on St. Flup's Day, as that's a working day in the UK, 7 p.m. They just don't respect our religion. I don't really want the day off, to be honest. It's just a Discordian Saints Day, as I said. They're like Kleenex. The day after the Saints Day over, you never talk about that saint again. But you do talk about their vibe. And of course, the vibe for this season is Meme Lord. So, yeah, any memes that you post on St. Flup's Day are blessed. And at midnight, we can forget all about it and just get on. We're looking forward to the collapsing darkness of the end of the year. That's if you're in the northern hemisphere. In your southern hemisphere, I understand that inconveniently enough, you have summer during aftermath, and like the height of summer happens in chaos. Seems weird, but there we go. That's just me. I like my chaos to happen in the still darkness that comes in the shortest days. Just a personal preference. And I haven't got an actual sign-off other than going to the slide. So I guess that's what I'll do. Subscribe, follow, whatever it is if you enjoy this stuff. If you find it spiritually revealing. If you don't at the moment, because we are in aftermath. And to be fair, what I've discovered about the aftermath vibe is it's light touch stuff. If you zip back to bureaucracy, we were coming in with so much Discordian theory, you would not even believe. But, well, you don't need to believe. You can go and look at the services, right? But right now in aftermath, we do our Saints Day. Good news is next Friday, we don't have to worry about the seasonal Saints Day anymore, because it'll be over. So, and we'll be sloping on towards the end of aftermath, slowly dwindling to go out not with a bang but with a whimper. I'm having some mint chocolate and a soda soon, so I hope you too have something nice that you're going to enjoy lined up. But other than that, thank you for watching, and I will see you on St. Flup's Day, 20th of November, probably after my macaroni cheese and meatballs. Bye.